I have one more Burning Man update before we start putting out the content.
Okay. Which the content can come much later. You're waiting for the jingle.
Okay, you gonna hit that jingle or
no,
what?
I wasn't ready for it. No, I was not. I wasn't prepared. I forgot that you were going to actually talk about it because.
Okay.
You know how it goes. Here we go.
Welcome to the camp of the unknown
Coming to you live from
Burning Man.
That's right. Thank you for everybody who has sent the notes and the messages and things like that about the Burning Man updates. It feels nice that people are actually enjoying it. Of course, we are hard at work creating the official content that came from the Burning Man research trip. And thank you very much to all the producers, both with your moral support and your financial support for the thing. We've started for the trip. We've started putting together the interviews, putting together the episodes to really dig deep into the trip. But here, I've been having a wonderful time commiserating publicly about just how disastrous the logistics of the trip have gone. You know, I've listed all the things that have gone. Pretty much every day of the trip was contained some fresh new abomination that needed to be overcome, and not in the ways you think, but in the sort of logistical, can this even happen? Will I survive? And, you know, to kind of round it out, this was one of the bigger ones. So I mentioned how towards the end of the trip, my SD card, the card that had all of my recordings, a few interviews, things like that, went missing. Was somewhere. It's probably still out there, hiding, taunting, calling me back or something like that. And so towards the end, it literally was like the second to last day, or it was the day before, the night before. I'm panicking. I am, questioning the whole purpose. I am crying out to God, asking for some direction. Of course, I got chastised for focusing too much on content creation and not, being more open to whatever the Lord's plan was. And this is what really topped it all off. So the last night, I'm like, I can't go back with nothing. I have to go find something. I was leaving the next day. I had one night to go get some content or whatever. So I set out. On my bike out into the desert. It's one of the last nights of the thing. So people, everything's popping off. The art cars are going. The concerts are going. It's really crowded. It's hot at night. I mean, it was like 86 degrees at night. I'm trying to get this all done. So I'm going from art car to art car. I'm going from art piece to art piece. I'm going to the temple. I'm getting footage and commentary and things like that. I'm trying to piece together just something to bring back. And what I came across at the end was the embers, the burning embers of the man. The man had burned that night. Post-burn. Post-burning of the man. And, previously what they do, and I've reported on this in previous Burning Man reports, the man burns, then it's kind of a heaping pile of flames and coals. Then there's some volunteers in heat reflective suits because it's really, really hot. You can't really get too close to it. That kind of manage the coals, manage the flames, spread them out, wait for everything to go down, kind of just manage the scene. Because what they do then is they let the coals burn for a very long time, and then people sort of proceed to gather around them and do things like whatever.
For people who don't remember or haven't listened to some of the older episodes, if I'm not mistaken, people go into the temple and put belongings or pictures of family or whatever in there throughout the week as part of the ritual, right? And then,
so thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
There's a difference. You're referring to the temple.
Okay.
So the temple burn is different from the man burn. There are
Okay.
two structures. One is the man, who's like 60, 70 feet high or something. And that is the namesake of the event, Burning Man. That thing burns on Saturday night. And then Sunday night, the temple burns.
Okay.
Which is what you're referring to. So
Okay,
there's
okay. So
actually
two different
two
things.
giant fires. Yeah. But this was Saturday night after the man burn. And the heaping pile of coals and flames were there. And I stopped by it. I'm taking some footage, just trying to show the scene. I'm taking a selfie. I'm, kind of observing. And I take some footage of the fire volunteers. You guys will see this in a video as soon as I finish editing it, which is turning out to be harder than I thought. And then I turn around, I take a selfie with my googly eyes in front of the fire for you, Gons, so you can put it on the refrigerator and think of all the hard work that I do. And now remember, I was in this place where I thought it was kind of, and I personally don't go this deep into it, and I don't, but one who, like a Burning Man hippie telling me, or hearing me tell this story, could draw all sorts of connections between, like, my crying out to God and wondering what's going on and the man burn. It is sort of a recreation of the cremation of care, Bohemian Grove ritual. And I take a selfie and I turn around, and the second I look up from my phone, something happens that is sort of a well-known story about Burning Man, is sort of semi-apocryphal, something that people talk about all the time. But I was extremely surprised to witness it myself. And this was someone, I don't know the details of this person, or I'm not going to talk about all the details right now. This will be told more in detail in our content. But I turn around and I look up at the exact moment that a man runs onto the coals. And not just coals, runs onto the flames. And immediately gives out a scream, just a blood-curdling scream. I mean, it really kind of affected me for the rest of the night. It was terrifying. And fell onto the coals, into the flames. Ooh. And this was sort of a repeat of 2014, I believe, in the famous incident of the man running into the Burning Man fire and eventually succumbed to his injuries. And without getting too graphic on this little update, because it was extremely graphic, the man was pulled out of the coals and the fires by people around him,
and Darth Vader was born.
It was very difficult to get close or to figure out what was going on or the state the guy was in. The authorities were called, an ambulance showed up, and he was taken away in an ambulance. There was a report without details from this Burning Man that somebody did die. I don't know if it was this guy. It would not surprise me if it was this guy, but it was quite the scene. And there's one thing to hear about these stories and, all these hippies taking drugs, running into fires. But to actually witness it happen about 30 feet from me was quite affecting. And I would not have been standing there at the exact moment that this happened if everything had not gone horribly wrong. If I had not lost all of my stuff beforehand, I would have had no reason to be there. There's more details to the story, but I am saving that for a time where we can give a disclaimer and not be too graphic. So you can look forward to that when we start posting our Burning Man episodes. So there you go. There's a fun little update from the Burning Man trip.
Longest update.
May have seen a man barbecue himself. I don't know if that was the longest one, but longer than it could have been. So there you go. That's a fun one.
Yeah, great. I'm so pumped now. I'm so happy to be.
Yeah, so if you want to hear that whole story and a bunch more details on the trip as a whole, we'll be talking to some experts on the topic, transformative events, talking to some other people who had been there. And I was surprised to learn that my experience with disaster after disaster after disaster turned out to not necessarily be an entirely unique experience for people at the burn this year. So we'll hear more of those stories, and I'll tell more of it in detail and discuss those things in the episodes that will drop for these for the event.